evening to you viewers out there. Welcome once again to your favorite program, your fortnightly program in perspective. This program is aired live on NTN every fortnight and on Little Rock television station every week. This evening we'll be talking a bit with the NDC chairman of John Sport Mourant, a well-known person, Mr. Imran Ali. Imran, welcome to this program.
Thank you very much.
And I would like the residents of John Sport Mourant to call and interact with your chairman, your NDC chairman. I hope after this program or during this program we'll be hearing from the chairman some of the programs that the NDC has for this area and some of the programs they have been doing over the last few months, and also the plan for the future and what have been taking place in the NDC. But before I call on the chairman of John Sport Mourant, I want to just recap. Yesterday marked the 51st year or 51 years since Guyana gained independence. And as a country, we have to take stock what have happened over the last 51 years. We know for a fact that out of those 51 years, 28 years was spent with, by our people fighting for democracy, which was led by Dr. Chelly Jagan. And then we had rapid development took place from 1992 to 2015. And over the last 2 years, we have witnessed a downturn in development in our country. We have seen stagnation in all facets of life in our country. We have seen a retrogression in our country over the last 2 years. The economy is down. Whilst we should be happy that we are an independent nation, we are seeing the progress that we have made over the years, all the struggles and sacrifices that were made by our foreparents, the struggles and sacrifices that were made by people before us are being eroded today with this de facto government and the policies of this government. And just to recap, we are now witnessing the closure of the sugar industry. The closure of the sugar industry, they started it from Wales. The President and Gaisuku and the Minister of Agriculture, they have already pronounced that Rose Hall, Enmore and Skeldon will be privatized. Rose Hall and Enmore will be closed at the end of this year. Sugar, which have been the backbone of Guyana's economy over the years, all our development was based on sugar. Sugar, as a matter of fact, has helped our country tremendously. All the development that we are enjoying today came from sugar, one of the major foreign exchange earner for our country. And today, whilst sugar is facing a crisis, we are turning, this government is turning their back on sugar and to close the sugar industry. We must also remember that sugar paid a levy from 1976 to 1996, and a lot of money that came from that levy were fuel into the economy for development. Even sugar paid public servants wages and salary during the hard period in our country. And today sugar is being faced with a crisis, and this government is turning its back on sugar. Imran, we can have a discussion on that. Then we are now seeing the witch huntings continue. We heard that 200 persons were blacklisted from leaving the country. They have not indicated or they have not named those persons. So anyone can be blacklisted, and they turn up at the airport. They don't know, they spend their money, they book their ticket, they book their, they travel with taxi, go into the airport, and when they turn up there, they can't travel out of the country. This is a kind of dictatorship coming back to the country. If you blacklist someone, you should inform them that they can't leave the country. And these are the reason that you blacklist them. But then you can't say 200 persons being blacklisted and then you are not naming these 200 persons. We are still seeing the trump-up charges being laid against public servants, people who don't have any affiliation to the PPP, people who they perceive to be PPP supporters, people who they perceive to be of one ethnic group. They are dismissing them, they are taking them in front of the court, and for frivolous excuses, right? So those are the things we're talking about. And then we are seeing also the problem in the rice industry. Rice is on a decline now. That is another major foreign exchange earner for our country. And the entire country, the entire economy is on a downturn. few days ago, I heard the chairman of Banks DIH said that the company, Citizen Bank, the profit declined by almost half that that they made last year, 2016. So you could see now this, even the business sector is feeling the squeeze. So, but there is an economic assault on areas they feel that are PPP areas, and they feel that sugar workers and rice farmers are supporters of the PPP. That is why they don't have an interest in these economy. While that is happening, we are still seeing the rampant corruption taking place. $605 million for jobs awarded to one company without any big procurement. They didn't take it to the procurement body, they just awarded the contract to a private company. And then we are now seeing things like used tire. If used tire come on a vehicle from overseas, they will charge the importer. So when you buy a vehicle, if you have to buy a vehicle online, for example in Japan, and you import the vehicle to Guyana, you don't know if the man put used tire or not. But as long as the vehicle come into the country and it landed into the country, then you as the importer will have to pay a fine. So these people don't know what they are doing. So these things, Imran, we can talk about. But firstly, as the chairman of John's Port Mourant, one of the biggest NDC in our country, and an NDC that has thousands of people, I would like to hear, tell our viewers out there some of the work that you have done over the last few months and some of the plans that you have within the NDC.
Okay, thank you very much, Comrade Zulficar, for having me on the program here tonight. And of course, a special good evening to all our viewers, particularly the residents of Port Mourant. Yes, the council has been in great stride and of course has been taking the initiative to develop our communities. And of course, as part of our program, one of the things that comes to mind very quickly that we have very much in focus is that of our garbage collection. And this has been one of the things that has been, on the minds of people, and the residents would have been looking forward for this particular service. And so I think one of our achievements since we have taken office is to have this rigid garbage collection system resuscitated, and that it's working very well. We've had odd reports in some instances, but I think the general feedback is that it's being extended to residents, and of course that we're having a very good coverage geographically. There's
right
a good
across
spread.
the NDC.
That's right. And so it's being done actually 2 entire days. It's 2 days per week that's being dedicated to the residential collection. And so on every Wednesday, there's the collection from Johns to Tain, which is inclusive of Block 4. And on Thursdays, the services are extended from Miss Phoebe all the way to Portuguese Quarter. But on some half days as well, like on Fridays, when we deploy the equipment to service the market area, we also capture some of the public spaces, especially in front of the Catholic Church. That seems to be a real nuisance for us at times, and we're still having some indiscriminate dumping in some areas on the roadside. But as our staff is out there and the team is out there, we try to touch those areas at least sometimes once, if not once, twice per week when that program rolls out. So I think for now, well, it's the garbage collection system.
But how the feedback from residents? Did y'all had a feedback that the residents satisfied with the kind of work that you have put in place?
Most persons are pleased. We've had some instances where because of the tractor not being able to gain full access, persons might have been asked through their constituency representative, the councillor, to bring that garbage to the nearest access point.
Real tractor could access it.
Right.
But what about for example, you have other works in the NDC going on. What about these workers doing the CRIP work? They normally call it the DNI work.
The DNI workers. Yes, the DNI workers continue to provide that critical service in terms of maintenance of some of our critical drainage structures. But at the same time, we have also been utilizing them not only for drainage work. Right now we have been able to procure crush and run, and very shortly, as soon as the weather eases, we're going to start to address the filling of some of the potholes in some of the streets that are really, really deplorable. I know for a fact that we have like the Rambalas, that area there, and some of the other areas that are really in a bad state. But of course, the materials are there, and then of course, to help that is that we have already had the approval of the 2017 subvention, which also we would have taken, we would have given thought to this particular situation, and that materials will also be procured from that subvention to deal with the pothole situation and the deplorable state of some of the roads and streets within the area.
Residents of Port Mourant, John's Port Mourant, I think you're having your chairman here this evening. I think you should call and have a discussion with him so that you can know more about the NDC. Mr. Chairman, you talk about the subvention just now. Subvention program, normally it was started by the PPP Civic. But for an area like John's Port Mourant, what is your view on this, the amount of subvention you all receive and the amount of rates and taxes that you all collected? Because I know for a fact that local development, local community development is development in progress all the time. Residents, as a matter of fact, don't feel satisfied with the kind of work being executed by NDCs and municipalities. But your view on the subvention and the rates and taxes and the money that you have to do work in the community?
Well, totally. I think for us, an area of such magnitude, so many residents, and of course that geographically is actually the second largest NDC in region number 6. And $4 million, an allocation of $4 million from government's coffers as a subvention yearly is totally inadequate. All right? What we have found since we've been in office is that most of our work, most of the developmental works that we have done are works that were funded by the NDC. Right?
That was the revenue from the NDC.
That's right. Revenues that we were able to garner from rates and taxes, and of course for other basic services that we provide. But also that we have had some assistance. We have had great assistance from community partnership. I think that in itself would have been a plus for us.
But you just mentioned about the subvention and the rates and taxes. What amount of, what percentage of rates and taxes you all collect normally at the NDC?
Well, this year has been, I guess this year has been a good year for us in the sense that some of the arrears that we have had, right, we have had people coming in, and well, in a way, Gaisuku would have been able to settle some of their outstanding debts too.
Okay.
And so that in itself would have been a bolster for us.
You mentioned Gaisuku, which is very, very important for an area like John's Port Mourant, because over the years, or since the history of this community, this NDC, you had Gaisuku taking care of certain services in this community. Seeing that Gaisuku is on the verge of collapsing, do you have any plan, for example, like a drainage? I know for especially drainage, which is very, very important for an NDC, for a community. How you plan to tackle it? Because in another couple of months or year, Gaisuku might just abandon it, and you will have to take control of that.
Well, that in itself, that's going to be a mountainous task for an NDC. With our capacity, I think right now, with that thought in mind, we have to look ahead, have some sort of a projection in terms of procurement of the necessary pieces of equipment, machinery, you know, to advance that cause should it have to fall directly under our purview, or we have to take responsibility for that. So it will take some planning. Certainly, it will take some planning. And looking ahead, there's going to have to be a lot of collaboration between us and other agencies. And I don't know, we probably have to engage some government ministries. But that in itself, I could tell you, from our experiences right now, we have not been having that kind of support.
Okay.
Right? That support at the governmental level has been very, very weak. We have written on numerous occasions. We have had to write and to have. We even did petitions in certain instances,
responding.
and they have not responded. Look at a typical example: the Bunyan Trench. Right? That request went to several ministries: Ministry of Agriculture, Ministry of Public Infrastructure, the Ministry of Communities. We have not had not one person responding, but we took the initiative. And we took the chance, and we were able. We did not. I mean, we weren't able to address do the excavation or the cleaning of the trench the way it was supposed to be done. But at least an effort was made, and now there's a little bit. The situation on the ground here is a little bit better for the people in Portuguese Quarter.
Did the Minister of Communities ever visit your NDC?
As a matter of fact, since the local government elections, we have not had any government official in the form of a minister or even in the form of a PS, right, visiting. There was one time persons from Office of the President, those who are responsible for this, I think it's the promotion of the internet services and the IT programs, the e-governance. They were the only set of people who ever came to the NDC.
But two other important issues I want to ask you in the NDC, and then probably we can talk about some other issues and take this, and then open our telephone lines. One is the market, the Portland market. I have visited a number of areas, and people are complaining about Friday, people selling there, and then Saturday they don't get sale. As the chairman, you want to explain to the residents and vendors who normally ply their trade at the Portland market, what is this Friday and then Saturday market, because how the Friday market started?
All right, the Friday market is a pretty new thing to all of us, and it was out of security concerns. I think that was one of the fundamental things. When we had the consultation and we engaged the vendors, one of the things that drove the market to where it is currently is the security concerns. And so those wholesalers who would have been coming out there, especially the folks from Blackbush, and they would have been plying their trade. Let's say the wholesale business used to happen sometime between 10 and 12 midnight. But having expressed security concerns, they thought that it would have been best to bring that service
earlier,
to have it being done earlier. Now, I think what happened afterwards was that the regular retailers started to capitalize on the situation, and well, that the market, it began to grow exponentially, and then the time eventually started getting earlier and earlier. Now we're even seeing that the market at about 11 o'clock on Friday, the market it's almost a full-fledged market. But the important issue here for me is we don't want that we're putting a leash on economic activity, right? And of course, this situation is very typical. There are those who are in support of it, and of course, there are a few vendors who are not so comfortable with the idea because it's affecting their sales on Saturday. But the masses, the majority, I've engaged people on Friday, public servants, people from the various facets of our community, and they seem to appreciate and they like the service.
So you're not divided view.
Exactly, having to go out there on a Friday evening to do the event. They say it's cooler, you know, it's less of a hassle. We have heard it's the High Car Association. They are not too comfortable with it in terms of the parking. The police would have expressed some concerns as well. But like every other situation, sometimes it's very difficult to please all the people, you know. And so we have to look at.
So you still have to consult all the time.
We're still consulting, and what we're trying, what the council's position right now is to be able to have a better degree of control.
Okay.
Right? Not that we're hoping we want this exercise to come to a halt, but that we're able to better control with the support of the police and every other stakeholder, that, you know, we can have a free flow of traffic, but at the same time we allow for the commerce to go on Friday.
Now, your view as an NDC chairman, since last year, right? The March last year was the local government election. When the APNU FC they were in opposition, they used to call for the local government commission. The local government commission, as you know, is a commission that will be responsible for these local authority bodies, municipalities, and so will fall under that. So, for example, if the NDC wants permission to employ a staff, that has to go to the local government commission. Your view, why seeing that already, because the opposition parliamentary parties will have to have 3 persons,
right,
and then the government got another 3 persons. The opposition, we is the only opposition party, a parliamentary opposition party. Now, we have already submitted our names about a year ago, right? 3 persons. Mr. Clinton Collymore,
right,
Mr. Norman Whitaker, and former town clerk, Ms. Carol Suba. Those are the 3 representatives for the PPP Civic or the parliamentary opposition that will sit on the local government commission. But to date, the government has failed to name their representatives. What is your view as the chairman of John Sport Mourant? How is it affecting your NDCs and other local authority bodies?
Well, certainly an institution of such nature is very critical to the daily management and administration of NDCs, particularly when it comes to staffing and as it regards disciplining of staff members. We have been stymied in a lot of ways because of the absence of the local government commission. And, you know, it is our hope that there would have been more wisdom on the government's side to forge ahead to have this commission set up, and of course that it becomes operable. Because like I said, lots of the daily, the administrative managerial issues that we encounter as a council, we're unable to forge ahead with it because there isn't that legitimate body there that is sitting who will be able to make those kinds of advances.
And the function of this body is being usurped by the minister and his permanent secretary, and by the government.
Exactly.
And they want, and you know the position now in this country, if you're not affiliated to the government, you can't find a job. So if you get a bright person who applied for a job at John Sport Mourant, and your council recommend that person to the minister, and the minister don't want to appoint that person, then you lose.
Exactly.
Right? You lose. But whereas you have a bipartisan committee as the local government commission, that commission can help to get things and fast track things, and so.
Of course.
So residents, I think in another few minutes we'll open our telephone lines. But Imran, as a young professional, I know you was a former DREO in the RDC, and you suffered the same fate, what thousands of Guyanese suffered. That is that your contract was not renewed, and tens of thousands of people like you, young professional, people who didn't have any major affiliation to political parties, just public servants who were doing their work. And as long as they feel that you is from this ethnic group, then you affiliated as the little to the PPP, then they dismiss you. Now, as I was saying, after 51 years of independence, we are a country so backward. For the last 2 years, all the development that have taken place over the last 23 years when the PPP Civic was in government, we are seeing it is eroded. As a young professional, what is your view, if you could review in a very short space of time, if you could review now what took place and how you view it as a former DREO and a now a person in the education sector?
Yes. Well, totally. my honest opinion and view of where we were and what happened, the developmental programs that were forged and advanced by the PPP compared to what's happening now, it is certainly, it's like this country has taken a 180 degrees turn.
And those dive.
Right? And that trajectory that we were on is certainly not what it is today. And my experience is, when I was at the RDC as the deputy REO, I remember how well we served and the expansive programs that we would have had, and the budget. One of the things that we did give a lot of consideration to was that there was a spread of the resources across Region 6. Yeah. Now, let me say to the people in Port Mourant, and this is what Port Mourant needs to know: the government's budget, 2017 budget, there isn't a single dime that is budgeted either in the capital, under the capital, or the current expenditure
for Port Mourant.
For Port Mourant.
But that is a general trend, you know. Places like New Amsterdam and other support area for the government, they're doing a lot of work. For places like Port Mourant, Johns, Bloomfield, Wim, Kilkay, Chester, you know, those areas, you're seeing stagnation happening.
There is.
Right?
There is tremendous.
But coming back as a professional also on a place, an area that depends solely on the sugar industry. What is your view, seeing that the sugar industry now is contracting? And when the APNU AFC, they were in opposition, they always criticized the PPP, saying that the PPP was discriminating against sugar workers. The PPP used to rob the sugar workers. Those were the words they used. And later on, when you finish, I will ask the operator to play a clip just now that the Ramjatan said at the rally at Wim. But the point I am trying to make is people like Ramjatan, people like Nagamutu, who came to Borbies and fooled sugar workers. They were saying that they would give sugar workers 20% increase. The sugar workers they will make the work less harder and things like that. Sugar workers will enjoy work. Now we see closure of industry. They haven't given a cent increase to sugar workers over the last 2 years. Things that sugar workers struggle for, things like the API, right? We know for a fact that people suffer tremendously to get these gains. Things like API, things against closure of the industry. Now this government, after 51 years, they come into this country and telling the sugar worker that they're closing down the sugar industry. Your view?
This decision, it's certainly going to have a devastating effect on the lives of the people, not only here in Port Mourant, but across the sugar belt. And of course, we know sugar, the influence that sugar has on the Guyanese economy. Obviously, the fact that a policy of such nature is being developed and advanced by this administration, it is going to have such a tremendous and, of course, devastating effect on the lives of people. And we have to look at how the domino effect,
direct and indirect.
That's right, direct and
the sugar industry.
Certainly, and people, not only here in Port Mourant, but we certainly got to be bracing ourselves, and we have to, with one voice, continue to express how disheartened we are, and of course that it's lives, it's people's lives that we're talking about. It's people's livelihood, and we just can't sit back, and I don't think that it's something that can be acceptable, and whatever the cost is, that we as a people, and those, especially those whose lives are directly influenced by this industry, that we continue to protest and we continue to raise our voices in one accord to ensure that this industry stays alive.
I agree with you, and then as the effect in the region, in the community, and not only direct employment for thousands of people, but the indirect one that you said, the shopkeeper, the taxi driver, the seamstress, things like that. And then you have the social services.
Exactly, there's a social spin-off.
Right, like things like the DNI in your area, things like the community center, things like the dispensary, right? Those things also will be non-existent.
Exactly.
Right? So viewers, I would like to hear your views on these matters, the rice industry, the sugar industry. Before I open the telephone line, I will ask the operator to play a clip that when Ramjatan was at the WIM rally they had. Listen what he said.
Brothers and sisters, as part of taking care of the people, we have to ensure that certain industries that are the foundation of this economy, Guyanese economy, are looked after. And in Berbice here, there are two major ones: the sugar industry and the rice industry. And I want to tell you, short time I have, that the propaganda that you are hearing, that the APNU AFC coalition is going to ground both industries to the dirt, it's all lies. We are not going to in any way close the sugar industry. If it is anybody that has ground it to the ground, it is the People's Progressive Party. We intend, brothers and sisters, to make that industry profitable again. We have to make it profitable because it is that which creates so much employment, not directly, but also indirectly for so many people across this country. And you know, we have to ensure that before that happens, that we get rid of that board that is made up of so much politicos and ensure that a professional board runs that industry. They're saying a lot of the excuses being that the European Union brought prices down. Yet today in Barbados we see a Fundel-Stroke government, a very close friend of mine, saying that he has to put some monies into that industry because it rests on agriculture. And when an industry is going to have a nuclear effect on other agricultural industries, we have to maintain it.
That was Ramjatan, Comrade Ramjatan, who spoke at the WIM rally. He said that the PPPC will close the sugar industry. He said that they will, if anyone who wants to close the sugar industry will be the PPPC. Then he said that the APNU will safeguard the sugar industry. The APNU will once again, APNU AFC will once again bring it to profitability. He said that many persons depends on the sugar industry for their livelihood. Today we are seeing the opposite. We are seeing the opposite because Ramjatan today and Nagamotu and company, they are enjoying the good life. When they went into government, they took first 50 to 100% increases in the wage and in the salaries. Now Ramjatan is earning $1.3 million a month basic salary. Wow. Basic salary Ramjatan is enjoying, while the sugar industry is on the verge of closure, where thousands and thousands of lives will be affected. People can't get money to send their children to school. They have took away also the cash grant that we started. $10,000. Yeah, where every child in public school used to receive $10,000. And that could have been increased until it capped at $50,000. They have took away the subsidies that we are giving to pensioners. Right? Today they were criticizing old age pension when you used to pay old age pension. We are seeing corruption in the system. We're over 50,000 pension book now is in circulation, and many persons are complaining that they are not receiving their pension. So these are the things, when these guys came to Berbice, people like Nagamoto, Ramjatan and company, they used to come and criticize and say and talk things, fool the people, make big promises. Today we are seeing it. So viewers, I would like to hear your views. I see the phone is going. Let me take the first call. Let me miss that call. So Imran, your view on Ramjatan's statement just now?
Very much deceptive. Yeah. And that's what some, this current regime is about.
Let's take this. Hello?
Hi, good night.
Hi, good night. Where are you calling us from?
I'm calling from the Edwards Village.
The Edwards, okay. You see the clip just now where Ramjatan said?
Let me make a bit contribution to your program tonight.
Yes.
But from 1992 till 2015, this country has developed in every sector.
Right.
Health, education, agriculture, in every sector you could think about. But where is the good life that the PNC government has promised these people? Where is the good life?
Well, it's a good life for them.
Where is the good life that these people have promises the cane cutters?
Yeah.
Where is the good life they have promises the rice farmers?
Right.
What happens to the 10,000 grand that they promised the little infant them that go to school? Now, they come and they say that they give the cane cutters 23% and they will give the rice farmers $9,000 basket paddy.
Nagamutu denying that now.
Yes, Nagamutu says so.
Yeah.
It's a good life. And Nagamutu is having a $100,000 microwave and a $2 million 3-piece set.
Yeah. And he bought an SUV the other day for close to about $23 million.
Yes. So what he's doing with these people then?
Right.
The fastest way that you can get these people out of it is better because this country Guyana is coming to ruin. Now listen to me carefully. I have a grandson living with me. And this $10,000 by the way doing well to get his textbook.
Right.
What about these little infants that go to school and what have you? Where is the 10,000 grand that Dr. Javio and Dr. Ramutar has provided for these people? Where it is?
Yeah, well, they took it away and increased their salary.
What is this? What is Granger and Nagamutu and Ramjatan doing? Enjoying a big life, eating ham and egg and barbecue and drinking scotch and what have you, and living in a high society. Like these people vampires, they're not suckers.
Yeah, well, all of us got to come on board to fight them, right?
Yeah, these people just need to bite on the neck. Have a good night,
good, thanks for it. The caller makes some very good points, very salient points, right? So yes, not only if you get one child, but if you get 6 children going to school, all 6 children would have received the cash grant.
That's
right.
Disposable income for parents and guardians who have an interest in having their children receive a good quality education.
And then you had the subsidies for pensioners. The pensioners hardly used to pay water and electricity bill because the thing used to work out for them monthly. You understand? Hello, good evening. Hello.
Assalamualaikum.
Walaikum salam. Where are you calling us from?
Dumfield.
Dumfield, okay.
Yeah. Now I'm telling you this thing, man. These people are from Jones, right?
Jones,
right? They give us set a cow.
Okay.
They must come in, Dumfield, and look up the whole place.
I got the chairman for John's Port Mourant here, Comrade Imran. He will be taking some notes. The caller is making a point that some people from John's has cow breaking up the streets. So the chairman will make some note and check it out, get his employees them to check it out. Okay.
Because it's in a black upstairs.
Okay. Well, Imran, you want to tell the caller?
We'll appreciate it very much if we can have some details so we can do an investigation and of course address this issue. The office numbers are 336-6810.
You got the number?
336?
Yeah, 336-6810.
6810.
That's right. You could come in at the office there probably on Monday and we'll certainly take the complaint and look at it.
Yeah.
So Imran, when you can see this guy? When will you be at the NDC?
The next thing is that the next thing, the people will lose their hand, a whole step of hand for money, please.
Pig, yes, pigs. So here, listen, the chairman, you can meet the chairman at the NDC office when?
Between the hours, like in the afternoon, I'm there at about 3 o'clock.
So you could go anytime at 3 and meet with the chairman and give him the details, right?
Okay, but me, man, you know who I'm going to do, man.
Oh, okay.
You're old, man.
Alright, call into the office, right?
Okay.
Okay, good. Well, the call.
I just want to make a point. One of the things that we've been battling, one of the gray areas for us is this whole issue of the pig nuisance. And the roaming pigs destroying residents' park pits and messing up the drains and all of that.
Hello, good evening. Hello.
Hello?
Hi, good evening. Welcome to this live program. Hello?
Yeah, I can't hear you properly now.
Yeah, you hearing us now?
Yeah.
Okay, where are you calling us from?
65 village.
Number 65, okay.
Yeah.
You want to make a contribution?
You're doing a good job, Chairman.
Okay, alright.
You don't call me?
I believe I recognize the voice.
Boy.
Yeah, buddy. Okay.
You're doing a good
Alright, I'm going to promise you all $9,000 a bag for rice, right?
job. You know that?
Yeah, alright, buddy. Take care, right?
Yeah.
Good. So, I think yeah, you don't have stray catchers in the NDC?
No, we don't have a pond, we don't have stray catchers, but we've been appealing to
Residents.
the residents. I mean, yes, people have to survive, but then we can't be unfair, we can't survive at the expense.
Hello,
of
good evening.
Good night, Mr. Zulfi.
Good night. Where are you calling us from?
Albion.
Albion, okay.
You are having a wonderful program.
Okay, thanks.
Keep up the good work. But we celebrate independence, 51st independence. But I don't think we are independent.
Well, you're getting back worse.
First last week, a protest was supposed to be held at Mourant with the Albion workers to support Kanji.
Okay.
And there were over 300 police stopping the protest.
So they deny you our permission?
Definitely I heard that. I heard it, you know.
Okay, okay.
And which is not good. Because if we say we are a free country, there are certain principles and procedures we have to follow,
Yes.
which this government failed to do. Why they deny people their right to protest?
Well, that's the point, you know, that's it. That shows that the signs of dictatorship coming back. You remember before 92, we can't protest certain places.
I know that.
Right.
I know that.
And they are bringing it back now.
Yes, that's so true.
Right. So we got to continue, because let me tell you what, the opposition leader, Comrade Jagmew, told me that he will be in Barbies shortly. He will come to Barbies. He will come to speak to sugar workers.
I think we need to address this situation in a more desperate way, because if we look carefully as to how these people are operating, right, they are moving very fast.
Yeah, they're moving very fast. But we have to fight it. Eh? We have to fight it. And all of us, every sector, not only the sugar workers, but all sectors will be affected.
Because whatever is happening is not only sugar workers,
right,
the entire community.
So everybody will have to come out and fight it.
Yes.
Right, thanks for the call.
In a more aggressive way.
Oh, yes, okay.
The country for about 3 days.
Yes.
Anyway, thank you, man.
Thanks for the call. The caller made a good point there, but then we are seeing now that they're going to stop these marches and protests, and so that show that
democracy is on the threat. Democracy is on the threat, and if people are going to be denied these fundamental rights,
that's the point.
Can you imagine what it's not? The signs are ominous for us.
Hello, good evening.
Assalamualaikum.
Where are you calling us from?
Canefield.
Canefield, okay.
Mr. Zulficar.
Yes, speak up a little, please.
Yeah, we get part 2 of the Jim Jones, you know.
Part 2 of the Jim Jones, okay.
You know, because if you crucify the sugar industry, not just the Jim Jones, those people, you only left to make the fighting inside the wine and get rich.
Well, let me tell you what, I was making the point just now that sugar, all the development in Guyana came from sugar.
Yeah.
And now today, this government is turning its back on sugar. And you saw just now that what Ramjatan said, right? You saw the clip just now that we played? Yeah, so Ramjatan was saying that they would never close the sugar industry. And today we are seeing that almost all the factories now are being closed.
Yeah.
Right. Thanks for the call anyway. Well, the guy saying that this man is slaughtering the Guyanese now, just what Jim Jones did in 1978, what took place at Jonestown.
Figuratively, it's tantamount to genocide. You know, it's like you're wiping out the fact that you're wiping out people's livelihood. It is genocide.
Hello, good evening.
Hi, good evening, Mr. Zulfi.
And where are you calling us from?
Adventure.
Adventure, okay.
Enjoying the program,
okay, thank you.
Them people that must see the government, right? Them like do inquiry for all the
everything that puts commission of inquiry.
So tell me something. When I is going back government, I go do inquiry for all them scandals, this what going on in the government.
Well, you remember last week, the week before last, I spoke about the bill, the SARA bill. You remember that? The State Asset Recovery Bill. That now has become law in our country. And what goes around will comes around. You understand?
Yeah,
so all the wrongdoings...
$8 million a month for a little.
Yeah. Here's the other thing. They take public servants to court because of entries into a ledger. But they shouldn't be charged because they go and increase their salary, right? Arbitrarily without anything. They just go and take home the money they want. So they move the salary from $500,000 to $1 million and over.
Okay.
You understand? So they are the first people should be charged and go to the court.
Yeah, but the main objective was the JPPB and the ministers.
Well, that is why we have to fight them. I think we have a good leader. The leader that we have is very vibrant. He's recognized worldwide, and he's working amongst the people. We have to give him our support, right?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you for the call.
Okay, thanks.
Well, the man said about the Commission of Inquiry. The Commission of Inquiry, they put a Commission of Inquiry in Gaisuko. The Commission of Inquiry said that they should not close any estate. Within 3 years, they should start to work on privatization. But they throw aside that.
Yeah,
they throw aside
millions of taxpayers' dollars being spent on these.
And that cost $53 million, the Commission of Inquiry in Gaisuko. And all the other things they put in Commission of Inquiry. Now they put a Commission of Inquiry to look at land, Armenian land. They want to take back land from the first people who we came and met here. You understand? Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Where are you calling us from? Hi.
The people get picketing. Why are them last week them policemen rape them bikes on the road?
Well, just now a caller told me, a caller just called in and say, so I will raise it and we will raise it in Georgetown. We'll raise it and we'll talk to the press in Georgetown.
Because
we never knew that the police stopped the sugar workers to protest.
Are you going to go picketing to and stop with the charges?
Okay.
And the time was like Suku. And the time when we had the put there, you know what you are, right?
Alright, let me get some deformities and so. Let us talk about issues.
The man just start and just fool the people.
Yeah, that's the thing. They were fooling him, man, like he and Nagamutu, Sharon Das and company.
Fool the whole 68 and Arnold.
Yeah.
And most likely the 68 people was vote for AFC. Because I mean, very bad down was always talk about you.
Alright, no matter who voted for the AFC or the APNU, we have to try, those who are our supporters, we have to bring them back.
Right.
They made a mistake,
yes.
So we have to tell them that they made a mistake and welcome them back in our fold because they recognize now that they were fooled by the people like Ramjat and Nagamutu.
You know, I think I either have a base for everybody come out of this vote.
Yeah, we will. We will continue work. The opposition leader, Conrad Jagger, told me he will come in Burbage shortly. Okay. Right? When he comes, we all will know about it.
Okay. Because
thanks for the call. But the caller was saying that the second call we received, the comment is saying that they were stopped by the police. So it seems that something is going on now. Because as you rightly said, that people's fundamental right now are being denied in this country.
Yes,
so, you know.
Those are telling signs.
And when we were in parliament, government, the parliament used to have blockage around that area only. Now they extend the blockage, the barriers still by almost Church Street and the back and so, right? So people now can't go in front of the parliament and protest. You understand? I was at parliament some time ago and then we had to call in some workers because they were denied access in front of the parliament. Hello, good evening.
hello, good night.
And where are you calling us from?
Port Mourant.
Port Mourant, okay.
Sir,
Yes.
I understand that this last part that they at Port Mourant school that after this last part finished, it was done.
Okay.
Another one, I heard that Albion Estate, Lemons and Highflock going up too.
Well, they already started.
I want to ask you.
They already pronounced an IFLOT. They are saying now that they can't keep IFLOT and will close IFLOT down. So you only Blaymont and Albion and attack nothing yet about. So by the time they close down Rose Hall, they close down, by the time they close down Rose Hall and they close down Enmore and they privatize Kelvin, they will close IFLOT and then they will come to Port Mourant, Albion, Port Mourant and Blaymont. So they want to do away completely with sugar. They feel that sugar workers are supporters of the PPP. They feel that rice farmers are supporters of the PPP. So they don't care anything. You understand? Hello, good evening.
Hey, good night, sir.
And where are you calling us from?
From Hampshire Street Center.
Hampshire?
Great.
Okay.
Everybody's not doing the right thing, you know.
What?
Now, when you go to the SC, right, what happens to the people who watch provision in the market and things, what happens to them? They didn't trouble. That's bad.
Yeah.
That's how they do it.
Right.
That's very bad.
All the sectors will be affected.
What we need to do, we got to start march from Wilson Creek,
Right.
start from.
Right.
Then we got to start march.
And the
If
PPP...
you got to come out, and march down right and do start from.
And the PPP will continue to support
And we
and
will-
ensure that the
Yeah.
people...
But then we got to see his strike.
Okay.
Close this country down.
Right.
We get all the election.
Yeah.
That's what we're talking about.
Right.
It can happen. And I think it will happen.
All right, we got to continue fight it, right?
Come on, you fight it.
Good, thanks.
Good night, yeah.
Call him.
Yeah, the Guyanese people, Borbetians, you know, we have to stand resolved,
Right.
you know.
Hello, good evening. Hello.
Hello?
Hi, good evening. Welcome to this live program.
Hello?
Hi, good evening. You're on live.
Okay. Good night.
Good night. Where are you calling us from?
Edinburgh on the east.
Edinburgh, okay. So how things there?
Oh, fine.
Things can be fine because when guys go close down, a number of persons will be affected, right?
We just saying about it, we just looking at the program. It's very much interesting.
Okay.
Yeah. What do two workers say about the turning back of the protesters? That was true because I was there.
Oh, I see.
I was there when they turned back and you could see them long gone.
Mm-hmm. That we're in Rosal Kanji?
Kanji. And when the workers were turned back.
That's intimidation.
Right, okay.
Same day, I was there. I'm a counselor about Edinburgh NDC.
Oh, I see.
So I was take part in every election.
Well, we can't be scared of them, you know. They want to instill fear into our people.
Yeah, I know the clip from Nagamutu or Ramit.
Yeah, just show the clip just now where Ramjitan said about sugar.
They're going to say what they say about we're going to give to workers 20% and the rice farmers 9,000. Yeah, I don't have that clip.
Yeah, I got that. I can play it next week when I come back. But I should just show one with Ramjitan, right?
Them the same of what they're doing.
But they don't care about anybody, you know. It's a good life for themselves. Nagamutu now earning $1.7 million a month.
As the same when the opposition were in there, they say how they having the money like cat.
Yeah, Nagamutu, well, he's a fat cat now because he getting $23 million SUV to transport him around the country.
Customized.
Right, custom made, you know, built specially.
I watching the news, I read in the papers, I see, I know everything that's going on.
Comrade Sam has lived in that house for so long, he never repaired him. Nagamutu went in a couple of days now, they spent over $53 million.
So when they take over, he used the word and say that he cannot go into that house because it's rat house.
Yeah, he said Granny Sugar there in the house.
Hey, that is what Nagamutu says.
So that was the man came to Borbis and fooled Borbisian, you know, Nagamutu and Ramjitan and company. Charandas, we now even Charandas come around now.
Oh God, don't worry, Chan. They're calling him Paraga.
Paraga, sorry.
And yes, we want our former president Barjali to be in Burby.
He told me he come in as soon as he
will be most welcome.
Yes.
Welcome.
As soon as he fix the date, I will let you all know in Borbis, right?
None more other can run this country more than our former president.
Okay.
Barjali.
Thank you very much.
Really need him back.
Okay, thanks.
Good. Have a good night.
Thanks for the call, Well, a lot of people in Borbis is demanding that the former president come.
Yes.
Right? I think that, and he told me that he coming, but then we have to fix the date, and so I will have talk again with him. Hello, good evening. Hello? Hello? Seems to lost that call. But Imran, you remember you was a former DRU. You remember that when we were at the region during the PPP time, they were campaigning that they go fix this Bang Borbis road. They are in government 2 years now, and the road is worse than before.
Exactly.
Right? Hello, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
And where are you calling us from?
Parish.
Pirish, okay.
Yeah. You guys did a good job. I like it.
Okay, thanks.
First of all, I would like to say
in connection with Mr. Ramjitan, Nagamutu. These guys are taking, like I would say, President, revenge on the PPP parties, people. Because they haven't, you see, Dr. Zema was never like Mr. Nagamutu. Because of his hastiness, and he couldn't run a country. And it goes on to Mr. Jagdeo, Barjagdeo, and you know, it goes on. They don't like these guys because of their ambition, and they cannot do this work. PPP is a very faithful and a party that loves Guyana.
Absolutely.
It's not like one race, people.
Right. Everyone used to get the same kind of development, right?
That's one of them. Another thing, right?
Yes.
The American is behind this thing, you know. You know what I'm saying, so? They issued a lot of visa, and we in the East Indian especially was blindfolded.
But now people can't overstay in time in America, right?
Yeah, but what do you see now?
Yeah.
We lost the election.
But we have to now continue work and tell our people whosoever got visa and so, that when elections time come around, they must be in the country to vote.
Because look at it. When the PPP was in office, I know a time where they harassed Honorable Mrs. Manichan.
Yeah.
With the guy named America Ambassador.
Right.
Mr. Hart, right? Samsung Hart. I can't remember his name good. And the woman wasn't saying nothing wrong?
No, we were just saying about the interference in the country's affairs.
Bleeding our country, not the American, the English, and the Canadian.
Right, that's it.
They are bleeding our country out.
Anyway, we got to continue the fight, right, brother?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. We'll take two final calls. The operator signaled me that we are about to program time. And when we close, we'll close again with the clip that Ramjitan said at the WIM rally. Hello, good evening. Hello, good evening. Hello.
Hello.
Good evening. Where are you calling us from?
Port Mourant.
Port Mourant, okay. Yes.
Yeah, me want to make an issue with this hire car. The man, I say you can't fit blind on your car. So on a hat, and if you fit on blind, it's a charge and so.
The police charging you?
Yeah. And the police vehicle dark. I want to know what the purpose is. Police vehicle dark.
Okay, and when you get the little dark thing in your vehicle there, they
not saying blind. You buy blind and face it on.
Okay.
They come out and fit on when you want it.
And when that fit in the,
it's not a tint, is
when
it?
that fitted in the vehicle, they see you and so.
You're seeing the vehicle.
Well, I don't think if they're seeing you clear, why they should charge you, right? I think we got to represent the issue. What about the association? You're a member of the Hire Car Association?
No, sir.
Okay. But I think we should raise it.
Something that the association can raise.
I will talk to the president of the association, right?
Okay.
To raise that matter. Because
but me have to know why the reason police people have to that.
Well, they will say because of security reasons. We can't what you call it, say that, question it, they will say because of security reasons so they can pin their vehicle. But the point I'm trying to make, as long as they're seeing you in your vehicle clearly, they should not charge you, right?
Okay, sir.
Thanks. We'll take one final call and then I will ask the operator to replay that clip that Ramjitan said at the WIM rally. Hello, good evening.
Good night, sir.
Good night. Where are you calling us from? You're the final caller.
64.
Number 64, okay.
Yeah, man, like the program here, really, on the car, sir. The policeman vehicle, a more dark and me and you one.
Yes, I know.
I see this from now. The man, Mr. But I'm the thing to the car, and this car is see-through. What am I good at already?
Well, that's the point. If they see through your vehicle, they should not have taken off your tint. You understand?
And then when I move back and me and you one, you know,
that's the point. And they will say that because of security reasons they put in these tints on, right? But you have to.
You have to talk to nothing like you know, son, boy, you see that.
I will call the commander. I will call Mr. Amsterdam. He's a good guy. I will talk to him and find out. And on my next program, I will tell you what he said.
You know, you got a little kid, right? And when you're traveling a car, how to see and the window blinking, you see the kid and the sun. Don't want all of them a charge anything on the road top.
Okay.
Can't get anything else on the car.
I will talk to Mr. Amsterdam, and I will on my next program I will inform you what he said, right?
Okay, brother. Thank you, right?
Thanks for the call. All right, use the last caller too. Imran, before we close up, your final thoughts?
Yes, absolutely. People of Berbice, Guyanese of all walks of life, we're certainly at the crossroads with a lot of decisions that we need to take, and of course doing an honest assessment of our livelihood and where we are and how we are being governed. You know, what is happening in our country right now is certainly not as we would have expected. I think there are lots of disappointment. So many callers would have alluded to the fact that the Guyanese people, it's a clear case of where we are suffering a great deception, and of course that we were hoodwinked in so many different ways, particularly people in the rice sector. The promises that were made about what's going to happen with sugar, and the promises that were made as it regards so many other developments in the other sectors, but these things have not materialized. As a matter of fact, the entire regime, their manifesto, all these projections that they would have had for Guyanese and for the development of this country has certainly not taken any effect. We need to look at this very closely. We need to stand in solidarity with our fellow workers and our comrades and friends and family, and stand united towards this cause to return the PPP to office, so that real development, that is, and development that we would have seen under the leadership and the stewardship of the People's Progressive Party, that development is what needs to be advanced, and we need to bring back, we really need to return the PPP to office, so that the Guyanese people, our lives and our livelihood, can continue from where it left off.
Imran, let me thank you very much for coming on this program here this evening. I think that this will be, and this is the first time you are here on this program, but I will continue to engage you so that you can inform residents of Port Mourant, John's Port Mourant, and also young professionals in Region 6 and Region 5, and some of the aspect of the PPP fight for their freedom, fight for the democracy and things like that. So viewers, let me thank you very much for having us in your living room for the last hour or so. And until we meet next time, I want to say a very good evening to you. I hope you have a good weekend, you have a good week ahead. And I will close with the clip that I just played with, the operator played with Ramjitan talking about the sugar and rice industry.
Brothers and sisters, as part of taking care of the people, we have to ensure that certain industries that are the foundation of this economy, Guyanese economy, are looked after. And in Berbice here, there are two major ones: the sugar industry and the rice industry. And I want to tell you, short time I have, that the propaganda that you are hearing, that the APNU AFC coalition is going to ground both industries to the dirt, it's all lies. We are not going to in any way close the sugar industry. If it is anybody that has ground it to the ground, it is the People's Progressive Party. We intend, brothers and sisters, to make that industry profitable again. We have to make it profitable because it is that which creates so much employment, not directly, but also indirectly for so many people across this country. And you know, we have to ensure that before that happens, that we get rid of that board that is made up of so much politicos, and ensure that a professional board runs that industry. They're saying a lot of the excuses being that the European Union brought prices down. Yet today, In Barbados, we see a Fundel-stroke government, a very close friend of mine, saying that he has to put some monies into that industry because it rests on agriculture. And when an industry is going to have a nuclear effect on other agricultural industries, we have to maintain it.